see if we can show the slide of the case. Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we have an interesting case. This is a 45-year-old male who is a smoker and hypertensive. He is a few days back presented with the evolved interval ST elevated MI. The echo shows a regional wall motion in LAD and LCX territory with a moderate LV dysfunction. So we did an angio. Angio shows the mid LAD a subtotal occlusion, and the OM is a bifurcation lesion, Medina 111, and a left PDA 70% lesion. So few days back we did the PTCA to mid LAD, and today we did the left PDA, and now for this live case we have kept the bifurcation lesion.
Yeah.
So
okay.
now we are showing the angio.
Go to the previous view. Yeah, here. So this is the LAD, and you see the diagonal just a little dissected, but normal. I mean, nothing unusual what was done 5 days ago. LAD looks nicely expanded stent, and there will be a total 3 lesions in the circumflex. That bifurcation OM1, OM2, and LPDA. Next. Keep going, so few pictures there. Next. So first we did is off. We have done the next stent in that LPDA using a 2.7 after pre-dilatation with the balloon. 2.75 next. 12. Zions Alpine. Next. 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 Good. So this is where we are done. Now, purpose of today was to go through this bifurcation lesion of this obtuse marginal OM1, OM2, which is Medina 111, and both vessels seems to be of equal size, about 2.5 between 2.5 to 2.75, and very significant plaque, as you can see, with the TIMI less than 3 flow, more than between 2.5 flow in both the branches, but predominantly the lesion going into the OM2. So this is where we are. We actually ready to do an intervention of this bifurcation lesion, and of course we can take the opinion from the panel. Should it be a 1-stent approach and 2-stent approach? But we'll just show you next that we did a balloon dilatation, and then show the OC. We did the OCT, and Dr. Manoj is ready to show the OCT here. Can we show the OCT?
Can we discuss before start OCT?
Yeah.
See, question is it actually 111 or you find that it is 101?
111.
It is actually go back, scene minus. Go scene minus, minus.
The lesion still doesn't seem to be that significant.
Yeah, see this here. You see that? If we can stop there. Stop there, yeah. So even you take the frame wise, it will be the main vessel. We are calling it the OM2 is the main vessel. So even a slow flow, osteal disease about 50% of the top branch, OM1. So by definition, will become 111. And the idea was that because of this kind of a lesion, yes, it's a subtotal in the OM2, maybe 70% in OM1. But anytime you try to do something which second vessel also will become significant to that extent because of the plaque shift or some dissection.
You said you dilated the lesion before crossing the wire. Why did you do that?
Before doing the OCT. Reason was that OCT with such subtotal lesion, there will be OCT will show no picture because of there is no flow. So you have to do a small balloon dilatation, and that is what we did with the 2O balloon, and then we did the OCT, and this was just to show how this 3D OCT looks in the bifurcation lesion. Now, do you need OCT in this particular case? Answer to that is no, but it is just for educational purpose, for learning ourselves that how these bifurcation lesions behave and what are the predictors. We actually have few papers coming out in next 2 months in the JACC imaging, JACC intervention, and CCI about predictors of side branch occlusion when there is no disease in the side branch. We know that in about 5–10% of cases, you can have side branch occlusion, non-acute coronary syndrome. The lesion was less than 30% of the side branch. You stent the main vessel, and you see the side branch closes. Clearly, in those, that number is about less than 10%. But still, what are the predictors? And one of them which has been that plaque on the opposite side of the bifurcation, and then of course it shifts. And what we shown by the OCT and other analysis, that it is usually the lipid plaque. We did the infrared X also, yellow, and basically showed that it's the soft plaque If you have the soft plaque, then you have more chance of side branch closure because the plaque shift if it is on the opposite wall and less actually if it is a calcific lesion. It was a very interesting observation which is just coming out. So just to supplement that, we did today here the 3D OCT, if we can show there, you can see the ostium of the side branch. So see, so side branch is involved, confirmed by the OCT, that's the being pointed out. And this is, you know, all fancy software. So this was just to show what we have availability of the fancy softwares in this particular case. So we are dilated, and one of the big discussion in this case will be whether you do a 2-stent approach or 1-stent approach, and if you decide to do a 2-stent, what would you do will be the discussion. And I'll just, while you are discussing there, we will start our strategy, because we felt that this case, good size vessel, and that we use a 2-stent approach.
My point was that you, no doubt you have demonstrated that side branch is diseased.
15.
Do you think to decide 2-stent, 1-stent approach, we need FFR in the branch?
Well, I mean, that could be one, but remember in this case, there is a lesion before. So your FFR will not answer, because you will have a positive
Dilate the
FFR
lesion.
even in the superior branch.
You dilate the lesion proximally,
And
then
that
you do
causes,
FFR in the branch, do you actually need the stent in that branch or not?
yeah, go back to the picture after dilatation. See, scene minus. What will happen, such a high plaque, once you have this, see those dissections? So those are common. Once you have those dissections, you know that your FFR will be positive, because the decision, I would say, the side branch probably questionable when you have a moderate disease. If you have significant disease, actually we have some other views also. We have the aleocaudal. If you want to go in the beginning, go to plus. I'll show you that. I want to show that quickly. Can you go plus? One, when they're doing a LED picture, plus. Keep going. Plus. You see here, even clearly it involves even the top OM1. Next. Keep going. Yeah, here. So here it looks like, see this now, it's on the background. See the soft injection, but it's involving all the 3 segments. So therefore, I think the angiographically, to me, at least, I mean, sometimes it happens when we project, and so that there's no question was that all 3 segments of the bifurcations were involved. So now, clearly, once you decide the 2-stent strategy, question is where you should do it. Let's do a picture. We're ready to take a picture. So in this particular case, we said we do a mini crush. Good. And the idea there is that you do a mini crush very easy to cross. So first we will deploy in OM2, take the wire out and so, and then we deploy the stent in the OM1, and then OM2 will be easy to cross because of the vertical nature of the vessel. Okay. So I think this is the one, OM2. Which one is OM2? Okay. Okay, let's see. This is the OM2. We're going to bring it here. Let it be a few millimeter mini crush. Just give a little dye again. Okay, good. Do the OM1, your OM2. Deploy it.
This one,
Yeah.
Start.
Go. Yep.
Cine.
No dye, no dye. Don't give
What's the
dye.
pressure now?
10, 12. So we deploy it fully. 12. Good. Negative. I always do 2 inflation. One more. Yep.
Any specific reason for that?
Yeah, the key is that 12 negative. The principle, you know, this was actually, I would say, the early days of stenting, that first when you inflate, your stent will expand to the resistance of the plaque. And second will give you a little more spherical, whether it's a clearly substantiated or not, but that has become a practice right from the beginning. Now, once we are done, now you deploy the
Before taking the
second-
wire, don't you want to see a distal dissection?
Yeah, that's okay, right now, yeah. So whatever you need to do, you still have to deploy the top stent anyway. Yeah,
Also
12.
distal dilation.
yeah.
Distal
Negative.
is there.
Go up again. Remember now, the idea is usually you already fixed a little bit. If need to go, you have to go through and put a second stand distally in the OM2 because the dissection will do it, negative.
Distal to the stand, there is oscillation.
Okay, now let's see what we have. Yeah, both are, we might end up in using the same, like earlier we used, needed a fielder wire. So we bring this, everything should looks good. Now before even go, I always do just fluoro, and it will tell me that how much stent we have crushed. Usually because of the angulation, sometimes you end up in putting crush of the more, but idea should be that do a mini crush. Let's take one picture and then maybe stent boost. So far okay. So we need to go through our regular process. We are going to recross now. Now we have two balloons. One is our old, which we use the pre versus non-compliant. I think we need to go to the compliant balloon. Anytime you crush, I always advise don't even waste time. Go with the old balloon or Oxford balloon. You need to go to the new balloon as well as small size. Go through it, open, and then you can always go to the high pressure.
Which wire is it?
Yeah, it's the same. We are the BMW. So we are trying to use the same. If not, we'll go with the fielder. Yeah, magnify this view so that we can see a little better.
Crush seems to be slightly more than required.
Yeah.
Is it so?
Yeah. Get that our compliant balloon which we had earlier.
2.5.
Earlier, the first balloon which we are compliant.
2.5.
Samin, do you think you should come from a one strut proximal to this? You know, you should
Or
pass the wire.
let's magnify. So question was that clearly when you go to the side branch, you want to go to the edge distal possible, so that will give you a better ostial coverage. Right? Now what do you think here? We have gone through this distal part of the
Yeah.
ostium, so that is what will be the teaching. And now if we have trouble going with the balloon, then of course we need to bring it out and do it again through the different strut. Okay? This is a huge balloon earlier which we used in this particular case. If not, then we use a 1.5 balloon.
Which size is it? It's 2.5?
2.5.
Yeah, this is the 2.5 compliant which we use as a pre-dilatation. So it's not the, we need to have a 1.5 balloon.
Get a 1.5 balloon.
You took wire out by choice or it came out?
No, I took it out to just go through the different strut.
Yeah, this is,
Just to see the same balloon crossing
that's a
again.
better angle.
That's better.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
See, earlier you had gone from a distal strut and then made an angle and then
Yeah.
came in the vessel.
Yep, it's not going. Now, part of that could be now is the crisscross of the wire. So let me just give one more try to bring a little bit back here.
With this wiring, you may be able to cross that 2.5 balloon. Just try it again.
Yeah, this is the 2.5. No.
Why should be changed?
I mean, we need a new balloon.
Yeah. So we'll go small. Why don't we go with the 1.5?
1.5.
Instead of doing this thing, I think that we should change the balloon. That's it. Why you want to recross it again? We may not be able to cross. You are expert. You are able to cross it again and again. So instead of teaching us that we should change the balloon rather than crossing the wire again.
No, but I think if you think it has gone, was not a difficult, one try going to the
Depends
different
who is
strut.
doing it.
Yeah, I would still give that advice first. Yeah, let's get a 1.5 balloon now. And remember, no matter how good you are with this mini crush, and so always the issue is about 5% of cases, 4-5%. That cactus trial actually was much higher, 8-10%. That even with this newer generation, that you will not be able to recross. There's always a limitation, even smallest balloon and so, with the crush.
Then what option we have in that situation? Suppose we are unable to cross, then what option we have in that situation?
Yeah, well, the same that you can use other devices, particularly like Corsair, and so the
Crusade will
acutely-
do that with the side pour.
Yeah,
Okay, cross.
So do you change a small balloon?
to the small balloon. This is now a new 1.5. What balloon this is?
Sprinter.
It's a 1.5 Sprinter. How much millimeter length?
10.
10.
You should be able to cross with this balloon.
Yeah, if you close.
Good.
Yeah.
Go up. Open this first.
Got it.
Yeah. So once you do it, then we have our 2.5 two balloons ready.
8, 10,
10, 12, 14.
12, 14.
Negative. Good. I just want to make sure that everything is smooth. Good. You want to do once again? Go.
Going. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Negative. Balloon ruptured already.
Seems to be balloon rupture there.
Yep. Okay, let's give a little nitro. So we have to flush it.
Rupture because of stunt or because of pressure you inflated to?
How much pressure you
12,
went?
12.
12. I mean, it should not. I think it may be just part of the combination, both going through the ragged stent struts which were there. But the patient is okay, no STT wave changes. We'll just go and post dilate. Give us our 2.5 balloons
NTG.
and give the NTG.
Maybe you should have dilated little more proximally as well.
Yeah, yes, go. No, I wanted to, but remember the balloon ruptured.
Okay.
So now we had two 2.5 high pressure balloons. Give us those two. 2.58, what sizes we have? Okay. No, but we need a non-compliant now. Yeah. Yep.
You're right.
So now basically we need to really make that carina.
May you see the angel?
Okay, let's take one angio.
Looks fine.
Seems to slow flow in branch now, Mr. Balloon rupture.
Yeah, this will take a little while to, maybe we get diltiazem or nicurendil.
No, no.
A little slow flow. Okay?
Just for the sake of I just want to see that how balloon ruptured. Somebody outside can inflate the balloon and see with the pinhole rupture with a tear. That will also help with the mechanism of rupture.
This looks slow flow because you are too fast.
Yeah. No,
I think the balloon rupture will cause some small
We
dissection.
are sorry to inform you that we just have 5 minutes with you. Might be switching over to other cath lab.
okay.
But we want to see it actually.
Yep, sure. So we are going with this now. And this one clearly we are going to see some slow flow so that whatever we use in the lab here, back in USA we'll use the verapamil or nitroprusside. So whichever way have the medicines for the slow flow we should have. Get the second balloon.
This is 2.5?
It's a 2.5, 8 millimeter.
So now you're doing final kissing after this?
Final kissing, yeah. But at least usually if there is slight ST elevation now, if you show the EKG in the lead 2 or just a very small. But ask the patient having chest pain because there is still a slow flow. He apparently was having chest pain today.
What's
And
the
they were
blood
even
pressure of the
thinking,
patient?
pressure is good.
Pressure?
Okay, and no
I
patient,
think
no
the
chest pain.
KBT and followed by the nitrate will improve.
Yeah,
You see
we
the
gave the
ECG
nitro.
tracing?
Yeah, nitro we have already given.
So which
But I
size
think we
balloon
need a
taken
little
now
more
for-
than nitro in this case now.
So one is 2.5 seconds, balloon size is what? What's the balloon size of this one?
Yeah, both 2.5. Non-compliant NC track.
Stunt was also 2.5.
Yeah,
The vacation.
yep. Okay, let's go up.
Actually, he should have dilated.
Go both. Yep,
Going.
yep.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10,
12,
12,
14.
14,
Did your balloon slipped off?
To distal.
No, good, negative. So I'm going to just pull back a little bit proximally and just do one. And before they go to another lab, we wanted to show this and maybe we can show the
final shot that
OCT
how
in the
distal
end.
branch.
Yeah.
let me check.
Just 1 second. Good.
In kissing, is it important to keep the balloon marked at the same point?
Well, I mean, we can do that just to proximally again. The vessel is just about there.
Yeah,
Good.
yes.
Go 10. Yeah.
1, 2, 4, 6,
Yeah.
8, 10.
Good. Don't do more than that. Negative. Clearly, the proximal vessel has to be 2/3 of the aggregate our stent balloon diameter, or stent diameter or balloon diameter. So we are done now. Before we do further, let's take one picture and then we'll decide what we are going to do further.
But this
Going
proximal
to
vessel,
second cath lab, just take one shot faster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
All
result.
right.
Great result.
Ah.
Gesture
Now
flow is
we'll do the
also good.
OCT in the end. Yes.
Nice job.
Finally,
We'll
master
show
is a
that.
master.
Okay.
Great.
We put a 2 stents. We did a kissing balloon dilatation next. We gave a diltiazem, the about 0.5 milligram, and then next, and you can see, we just did the OCT. We'll show you that OCT next, and they take a picture in other views. Excellent. Next, and this is the last picture we had. No chest pain. Everything looks fine. No dissection, and maybe the OCT we can just show. Just to complete, knowing that with this case we started with OCT, we can bring the OCT to the main screen, or just to show that ostium nicely expanded, and there is no, can you see at the ostium of the side branch, you always will see with the OCT slight plaque, and so don't get crazy about it. In the past, we used to go back and dilate, doesn't matter, though it's small, as long as your stent is fully expanded, there is no gap. Your little bit of small plaque protrusion is a normal phenomena of PCI, and as long as you have good angiographic results, most of the time with that small plaque protrusion, we do not go after. And here, just to complete, that all this fancy software has made the pictures looking very nice of this bifurcation, nice expansion, no dissection, so that both angiographically very happy, clinically patient is doing great, no EKG changes, no chest pain, and on the OCT, we seems to have all the criteria of full stent expansion and no dissection. Yeah. And with that note, I think if okay, we finish this case, because I'll be heading on back there for my part of the session there.
is there any question from the floor to Dr. Samin Sharma?
This patient is on prasugrel and aspirin, which is right, a young person with MI, and you need to continue those agents. Even the latest guideline gives the credence to acute coronary syndrome and MI that don't have to stop at 6 months, 1 year, in some cases maybe even longer. With the DAPT score, which also published in JAMA, the acute MI patients are clearly get a little advantage of the prolonged DAPT therapy compared to shortening the DAPT therapy, which this case with the bifurcation lesion, probably we should give minimum 1 year, if not longer.
Samin, what would be your choice as second antiplatelet drug in US?
Yeah, I would say because of young age and this, I would use the same prasugrel there. But 10 milli, the loading of 60, but majority of the cases we give 5 milligram unless the weight is over 100 kilo. Because what we have seen, the 10 milligram and 81 milligram aspirin, 10 milligram prasugrel cause a lot of bleeding. And we have done our own pharmacokinetic studies with using the Acumetrix device with the PRU, that majority of the patients who are less than 100 kilo, 5 milligram is good enough. So we keep them on 5 milligram, and I can tell you that having few thousands of patients, we haven't had any issue of the stent thrombosis because of the low dose. Many times they happen because patient not taking the medicine is a different story.
Why not ticagrelor as the better choice?
Well, I think ticagrelor could be also. This is the kind of case I would say is it being evaluated in the Twilight trial. That although this case is a post-MI is a separate story which has its own indication, but stable patients with a complex PCI using ticagrelor everybody for 3 months. And after 3 months, you stop the aspirin and continue ticagrelor alone or ticagrelor or baby aspirin for total 15 months. And that's the Twilight. Actually, India just got approval last week, and we will have about a dozen centers for this 9,000 patient trial, with Roxana Mehran being the PI. But yes, the ticagrelor also another choice. My feeling usually I'm still in the STEMI patient just because of there is although clearly no direct head-to-head comparison. There's some studies have shown that maybe one gets a platelet aggregation inhibition faster, prasugrel versus ticagrelor. There's some papers have shown other way around. So particularly in this case, who came with a STEMI, started with the prasugrel, I will continue that. And I probably will do the same thing in United States. If it was a non-STEMI and this bifurcation lesion, I definitely will go with the ticagrelor.
I think it's quite successful and education for mini crisis stem. But if you face the region again, will you consider the dedicated bifurcation stenting for this region?
Well, I can tell you so far what we have has not been great. Every other is the other bifurcation stents have been issues so far. But yes, one day which will have a good bifurcation stent, sure, these cases will be using them. But I think those cases what we learned in the early stages that it's not simpler than what the technique which I showed today. So they still require many times 2 stents, maybe 3 stents approach, and so and so forth. So I think it's still the bifurcation stenting has really not gone further, like just to see the absorbed stent, and that field has moved quite far, but the bifurcation we are still remain at the same. Now even if the Triton stent get approval, it's a bare metal more for the side branch than the main vessel. So I think the bifurcation stent, while looks very exciting, I don't see any clear winner in next few years over our 2 stent techniques.
Yes, totally agree.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for nice cases, I mean.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Have a nice day.